Hey everybody, happy Friday. We're gonna rant and ramble for a few minutes. I know you don't mind because you like hearing me ramble or rant or what have you, but what's next? Where do we go from here? It's been 10 days since The Great Dark Beyond came out, and look at these win rates. Win rates are 3 decks above 50%, and one of them, Death Knight, poor Death Knight, is just barely at above 50%, 0.1% above 50%, and then the rest are just done, dead. I've never seen it like this. And if you look at what the last week before the expansion came out, there was like 5 or 6 classes that were above 50% on the win rates. And as I'm going through here, I'm just seeing everything is the same. There's not a lot of huge meta-defining archetypes from the new expansion that has done anything yet. I haven't seen it, and I know that there's other content creators that are talking about this as well. So looking at this is just the last 7 days. I don't want to go too crazy into it. I know it's only been 10 days, but look at this. Elemental Mage is the only thing that really has some significance in terms of like heavy amount of play rates, and a lot of the newer cards in it. Understandably so, because elementals are strong. There's a lot of elemental synergy in the Great Dark Beyond. The next one after that in total play rates, all regions past 7 days, is Big Spell Mage. And I don't think there's anything more than maybe Ethereal Oracle. That's the only new card in that Spell Mage package, if you will. Quasar Rogue. This is another thing I don't get. So this is like number 1, total 6% or what have you. And I'm looking at Quasar Rogue, and I'm not seeing anything above 50%. And I went to Legend. Let's go to Platinum. Maybe there'll be something there. No, there's nothing there. And I was like, okay, let me look at HS Guru's data. When I pulled up the last, minimum 400 games, standard past 6 hours Rogue. We'll even go further than that. Let's go past 3 days and see what we have. I'm not seeing this Quasar Rogue. Thank goodness, kind of. I mean, listen, there's some Mech Rogue, there's some Cycle Rogue, and there's nothing there that's showing me, oh my God, this is amazing. It's confusing. It's very confusing. And then, like I said, when I'm looking at Big Spell Mage and I'm looking at all this other piece, there is no cards from the previous, from the newest set in any of these decks whatsoever. It's just so weird. And I'm wondering if this is the least impactful expansion ever right now. And hopefully maybe some refinements are coming up. They said they're going to do some sort of balance changes. Is it nerfs that are needed? Is it buffs that are needed? I think something is needed. Pirate Demon Hunter is done next to nothing. It's still at 52%. There's nothing else Demon Hunter-wise. Death Knight has some stuff, but it's really not playing in any of the cards. There's like a spaceship Death Knight, and it's kind of strong, but not kind of strong as to where it's impactful and everybody's playing it. The only good thing that I've done on the Death Knight spectrum has been like the Highlander Rainbow, and I think there's maybe 2 cards of the new expansion in there. Druid, Dungar Druid, Mage, like I said, we already know what Mage is. Hand buff Paladin is still around. Libram Paladin, sadly, is nowhere here. I love Libram Paladin. I loved Libram Paladin when it first came out. It's just too slow. Very too much slower than it should be for this meta. There's no shot. And yeah, Rogue has just been terrible for months and months now. And there's maybe there's Dagger Rogue. Okay, Dagger Rogue, that's about it in this meta. Shaman's got a lot, and it's a great thing that Shaman's got a couple of potentials there. There is a few cards in each one of these decks that are good for Shaman, but I think it's because of the old cards. So Jutter Block and all of those other ones that help those elementals really hit those hits. There's nothing there that's saying, hey, this expansion changed things. Warlock is doing the same thing. I think Kill Jaden is one of the cards that are popular in like a Warlock thing, but everybody's playing Kill Jaden if they have the card, because it just helps break things up a little bit more. Odin Warrior and Dumbing Warrior. I don't think there's anything crazy in here from the new expansion in any of these decks whatsoever. And then looking at all the cards, this is just neutral cards only from the expansion launch. and there's nothing up here at the top 10. Draenei is just nowhere. There's maybe one or two small cards here and there, but the Draenei mechanic that looked really, really cool when it came out, it's just not being played. It's not being played at all. And I think part of it is because of the amount of other cards that are out there. Why would you be playing the Draenei when you could throw Yogg-Saron in the deck? You know, why would you be playing, like, Titans are still here. Reno is like got like 11% play rate right now. So Reno's in there, demolishes everything on the board, obviously. There's just so many things that are just, it's just messier than I thought it was going to be. I thought we would have a lot of new things, and I'm not seeing any of these cards being played, really. You know, there's not a lot of cards that we're jamming through. I'm looking at yeah, go back to Big Spell Mage. Big Spell Mage, there's no cards from the new set in here, and then just everybody's playing it. Let me look at this Libram Paladin. No, Handbuff Paladin. Handbuff Paladin, popular decks go through. I don't think there's any new cards in this whatsoever. I just don't see too many. This is essentially what Handbuff Paladin was a few weeks ago, before the expansion launched. So, listen, you know, this is not a complaint. This is not a, you know, I hate Hearthstone because I love Hearthstone. I'm frustrated that I'm not seeing some of these cards being played. I'm frustrated that these cards look so wicked, and the signatures are amazing, and starships are awesome as well. And it's just, why aren't people playing these? And I really think it has a combination of, you know, some of these older cards. I'm not going to be throwing in a lot of these newer cards because the older cards just beat them out, and I have them. I don't have to buy the expansion, you know, to do that. I could just go ahead and shuffle a deck in that I've been playing for a while now. The, you know, the Big Spell Mage or what have you. That's all you need. And if you were playing it before the expansion, you don't need any of these cards. So it's a great set. I think it has a lot of potential. I think that the current meta needs to be adjusted. I don't think it's buffs to these cards. I think we need to nerf the heck out of a bunch of older cards. Nerf the Titan cards. Nerf any of the crazy cards like Marin, the Manager, and all those other things that really mess up the game, because I'm going to put a more powerful Marin the Manager or, you know, the Yogg-Saron in my deck before I put one of these new Draenei. I hate the fact that Paladin, the Libram Paladin, is only good on Wild, and it's situationally good on Wild. And it's only because some of those other cards actually make it happen, you know, make the Libram combos go off a little bit more. So, yeah, I'm excited for the future. I think that nerfs need to come up more on the older cards instead of buffing these newer cards. I don't think, unless you buff them crazy, crazy big. Listen, I also don't know what I'm doing. I do not know if that's the exact thing that needs to be done, but this is really, really, really weird, and it's a little frustrating on that point as well. I do want to know your thoughts too. Like, you know, we saw the announcement of the Warcraft anniversary stuff where they started talking about Hearthstone and StarCraft mini set. They're doing some changes to Arena and stuff like that that's coming up. I love the new roadmap. You know, we're going back to Journey to Un'Goro, which is my favorite. Well, it was my first first set when I started playing actively. And we're going back to there, and it's my favorite set, and we're going into the End World Dream. There's going to be this Heroes of Time thing. I'm excited for everything that's going on. StarCraft is the next mini set, something that it's not really shocking to me that StarCraft is going to be the mini set. We were in space, makes sense. StarCraft, blah, blah, blah. Just let me know your thoughts. I really want to know. I'm not rambling. I don't hate the game. I was playing for a little bit this week, and I'm like, you know, I don't see any of these new cards. Like, every single one except for a Starship here and there is popping off. And it's like Ethereal Oracle, Ceaseless Expanse. Every once in a while, you'll see a Starship. Nothing else is new. I've played more Big Spell Mages in the past week than I had 2 weeks before the expansion launched. What's going on with that? Maybe we'll hear something soon. I know that, you know, a balance is coming Hopefully the balance is coming quicker than that, because yeah, we should not be running off a situation where a week or 10 days into the new set and there is only 3 above 50%. Obviously, like I said, caveat, HS Replay is only giving us part of the data. We don't know all of the data. The people that are smarter than we are working on the game, but you know, they know the data, but we're in a holding pattern until we find out. So play the game, have fun. I got to do some stuff. I will see you in the next video.